Who, The Beast Below, the second episode of Series 5, is written by Stephen Moffat and starring Matt Smith and Karen Gillan. So yeah, Moffat wrote this episode to introduce Amy Pond as the Doctor's companion and her first adventure with the Doctor. This episode sets in England on a spaceship called Starship UK in the year 3290s, and it explores where the Doctor decides the best thing he can do is kill the star whale as painlessly as possible. But Amy comes up with an alternative solution that is more human and was designed to stand out in the Doctor's memory as a failure for a huge scale, and also the Doctor's need for a companion, and showed how important Amy would be to him. So this episode starts with a smiler in the booth saying well done to all students except a boy who got a 0. So a girl called Mandy advised him to walk 20 decks to London, because if he uses a lift with 0, he'll get sent below. But he uses a lift and gets sent below, which is dark, and there's a smiler in the booth turning from happy to sad then angry. So the Doctor shows Amy the space and the effects looks nicely done. So they looked at the Starship UK, so they've arrived there. The Doctor went to Mandy, who's crying, showed Amy around. The sets are great as well. Reminds me of Metro Centre, the shopping mall in Newcastle. So there's a winder following the Doctor and Amy, and after the Doctor puts a glass on the floor seeing something isn't right, so he phones Hawthorne what he saw, so he phones Liz 10. So the Doctor asks Amy to ask Mandy what's with the smilers and booths. So Amy goes to talk to Mandy and she sees a keep out sign, so she had a look at it. While the smilers are turning from happy to sad to angry, there's a tentacle inside, so the winders use the knockout gas to put Amy to sleep. So the Doctor looks at the fake cables and he meets Liz 10 wearing a mask, asking the Doctor for help when she notices a glass of water on the floor. So Amy goes to the computer and gets an option to either protest or forget. So she ended up pressing forget, and the Doctor came in and Mandy arrived. She said you have to be over 16 to press one of those buttons. So the Doctor decided to press protest, so the Doctor and Amy ended up inside the beast's mouth. Gross. Matt and Karen described this scene challenging, and Karen thought it was bizarre. So the Doctor figures out that he's inside the mouth, which reminds me of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, where the Millennium Falcon is in a mouth. So the beast threw up, and the Doctor and Amy ended up in the overflow pipe, covered in sick. Lovely. So they met two smilers, so the Doctor questions them, but they stepped out of the booths, wonder what they're going to do, so Liz 10 arrives and shot both of them twice. She's pretty badass. I think Sophie Okonedo did a fantastic job. She also voiced Alison Cheney, the Shalka Doctor's companion in The Scream of Shalka. Liz 10 mentions the previous Monarchs the Doctor has encountered and reveals that she's the Elizabeth X. And her best line is, "I'm the bloody Queen, mate. Basically, I rule." Brilliant. So they go inside her room for a bit. Terence Hardman played Hawthorne, Prime Minister of Starship UK. He did a great job, as he did with the Demon Headmaster. So terrifying. Smilers are androids in booths in Starship UK who are supposed to be security, and I think they're pretty terrifying, and Chris Porter did so good. I love to see the Smilers to return to Doctor Who. If they do that, they got to get Chris Porter to voice them again. Winders are the police, and they're cyborgs, half human and half smiler. They're pretty brutal and terrifying as well. David Ajala did so well too, and same with Hannah Sharp and Alfie Field, who played Mandy and Timmy. And I find Catherine Richards as the poem girl pretty scary when she does a speech about Beast Below, which is well done. So the Winders let themselves in, revealed to be half human, half smiler. So they take the Doctor, Amy, Liz 10 and Mandy to the Tower of London, and apparently the children who get sent below are still alive, which is great. We find out that the ship is connected to the beast. It's being tortured, which is horrible. And there's a moment where the Doctor plans to kill a whale, but Amy released the whale, but it's still carrying the Starship UK because it cared for humans. So in the end, everything is alright. The Doctor and Amy hugged. The Doctor gets a phone call from Winston Churchill with a shadow of a Dalek appearing. Pretty terrifying. And we see a crack on the starship, the same one in Amy's bedroom. Another great episode. Again, Matt Smith and Karen Gillan are great as 11th Doctor and Amy Pond. What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.